was everyone mentioning that one person it takes to make a change. I had that one person in my school, in secondary school, who was a writing facilitator, Colin Keegan, and he came into me, and he was from Clondalkin, like I was from. He was interested in poetry, like I am, and he talked like me, which was the main important thing. I think peer representation and cultural representation and people like you talking things that you like, that kind of thing. That's why I like doing what I do. I've done a couple of workshops, and they're the best thing in the world. They're like, kids are like so into poetry, and then I can be someone's that, if you know what I mean. So I know that buzz you get from just doing right by someone. I'm sure everyone in this room has got it at one point. I get that as well. I feel it right now because I feel like I'm doing an important thing right now, like everyone else on the stage has been doing. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to Kerry, especially down the back, for inviting me, and thank you to Tusla for having me, and thank you for the work you're doing. I find the Limerick video just really struck me about the counselling, because I've gone to counselling for many years. I haven't been back in a while, but I went to counselling for many years for my own problems, and I know taking that first step can be so scary, and it is still scary, and I might go back quite soon, and even that kind of thought is scary. But I think people like the guys working in the Limerick Youth Service, and people working in any youth service or any kind of peer-led or youth-led or anything led to just to improve the lives of young people and anyone really. I'm sure you all have like a great lease of life now when you go out and solve some problem. I'm sure you love what you do, or you wouldn't be here at a conference, because the word conference is scary. I was coming being like, oh God, oh no, what am I after getting into? And I'm after having an absolute great time. I'm after having the best time ever, and I'm sure you all have as well. So I know you are here for a reason, and I'm here for a reason as well, and that's to share what I know with you. So, like I said, my kind of outlet, my vision, what I want to do with my life is just to speak to people and talk to people, but not face to face, because I'm very awkward. So I'm just going to do it to all of you at once and just get it out of the way. But I just want people to understand how I see things. I don't want to change anyone's mind or make up anyone's mind. I think that's up to the young person, and that's up to you yourselves. But I recommend it to anyone, old people, young people, children, adults, all them kind of people, just to do it. Write something down. Write a poem, write a song, just scream at the top of your voice if it helps. Anything that's just letting out that feeling you have, especially if you don't have the confidence to go and find that person that might help you, because maybe you can say it in a poem and it might let someone else know in some way, shape or form. You don't have to be direct with your feelings, but it does help to be. But my poems are very direct, so I think that I get away with it like that. But it's a great outlet in any creative form, making music, making poetry, making art, just splashing paint on a canvas, just putting what you feel inside outside. And that's what counselling is mostly. They're helping you shape your thoughts back into things that make sense, and that's what writing does for me. So I urge us all to give it a go. I'm not going to make you do that now, that's not up to me. But if you feel like it, go ahead. But yeah, so this is a poem. The next poem I'm going to do before I finish up, and we have another lovely speaker to close off this great event. I'm going to do a poem, and a lot of people will know exactly what I'm talking about, some people won't. It's called Brass Tacks, and it's kind of like, it's about Dublin, and it's about Ireland, and it's about being really, really poor sometimes, but still going and having a good time and just getting through it. And I think that's a lot of where my problems and my generations and the future generations coming up, it's a lot to do with money and trying to survive and trying to get out into the world. Like, I'm terrified when I leave college because I don't know what's going to happen to me. I'm a bleeding poet, like that's where my job is coming from, you know what I mean? There's not a great market for it. But this poem is about those anxieties, and it helped me kind of figure out that I had those anxieties. And some of you might click and be like, oh yeah, and some of you might be like, Jesus, that's us she's talking about, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not blaming you, I'm just saying. But this is called Brass Tacks, and it's just about being broke and having a good time and how we feel about it. Working twice your age and hours for less than minimum wage, but legally it's all G, so we just turn the page to a different story. Sure, it's only for the minute, there's nothing in it, and there's nothing else out there. Or at least that's the fear. Seeded in the minds of the youth since the big boy bankers burst the bubble and left us in the rubble. The best of us still babies, but still we're the ones in trouble. We get the burden of blame, they're all the same. Won't get up off your backside, won't get up off that phone. Why don't you battle a landslide of trying to buy your own home in 2018? It's clear the working class is still a working machine, and the electronic gauge is closing the gap between man and manual labour. Do us a favour and digitise the criticised aspects of human error while you try code the compassion held by a carer or a shopkeep who let you off with a few quid at least once a week because he knows you're struggling too, and he knows there's nothing else he can do but ease your burden by a few brass tacks to which you say thanks, and he nods and yous know. If it weren't for to each other, there'd be no place left to go. The brain drain might have left us in drought, but there's no doubt that the stout inside our rain's still a-falling, like the good times never left because the locals still a-calling your name every weekend the same. He's the pain of a back-breaking shift that suits your carpal tunnel itch. Gather the boys, make some noise, let out your cathartic cries of times gone by and times to be, and all the times you miss, because you see, there's no thinking when you're drinking, sinking pints and dodging points of contention. Flinch at the mention of a well-rounded discussion, boost percussion, drum and bass, wreck the place off your face plus full disgrace. It's the power of the youth that slam cans and burns youths, because hands up, don't shoot doesn't come into it here. We're not living in fear of the systematic, semi-automatic or the boys in blue, but what's true for me isn't true for you. We have the privilege to accept our fate and blame the state with our commie dogma driving mates. We have the privilege to spray FTG and AGAP and still make a home to see mammy. We have the privilege to be bricks in the wall, cogs in the wheel, with a net of means-tested social welfare to catch us if we fall. And so, we settle into passive aggression. We settle into accepting recession. We settle into blissful disgrace, but never ignorance, because the only thing we know is our place. I said the only thing we know is our place. Thank you. That was brass tacks. Bleeding, sit down, will you? Go on, sit down. I'm standing there trying not to get choked up, and you're all standing up, get away with it. But yeah, I think, am I okay for time? Yeah. All right, Jesus, I talk very fast if you haven't noticed. But I think I might try do the Not Like the Other Girls poem that I'm also known for. I also don't know that. Yeah, we've a fan in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But I hope this is one that a lot of the younger girls in particular that are in the audience will kind of resonate with, because it's kind of the one that kind of blew up when I posted it on social media, and for really, really positive reasons. I don't think anyone had a bad word to say, not to me anyways, about it. It's called Not Like the Other Girls, and it's basically about my own experience in femininity, and I think that's a very kind of, it's something hard to explain. I have a very complicated relationship with myself in lots of ways, and I have a very complicated relationship with femininity in lots of ways, and that's one thing that I find that when I did go to counselling, when I did reach out, that wasn't something that someone else could explain to me or could make me feel better about. So this poem kind of came from that, and it applies to young men as well. I'm not going to write anyone off. It applies to anyone who doesn't really know where they fit or what they're supposed to do or how they're supposed to act based on what you're told you're meant to be. And I'm sure everyone in this room has at one point been told there's something that they're not, or something that they feel like they're not, or something that doesn't just quite go the way they're being told it does. And this is kind of like a little homage to anyone who feels like saying F all that and S all that and all that. I'm not going to curse because there's children in the room, but I would. Imagine it if you know them. Don't if you don't. But this is called Not Like the Other Girls, and I'll probably leave these after this because I'm sweating. And this has been probably one of the most, like, I was going to say high grade, but that's a real weird thing to say. It's one of the most, like, important things that I've ever done in my career in terms of the audience and who's listening. The fact that I know there's not like heaps of young people here, but the ones that are here are obviously so engaged in what they're doing and making themselves better and better in their community and stuff. So it's a very dignified and important and high grade, I'm going to say, audience. So thanks for listening to me. This is Not Like the Other Girls. Let's see how far I get into this one. Yeah. I never liked pink or glitter or bows. Instead I chose blue and dirt and digging. Never liked lipsticks or perfumes, never hung horse-themed posters in my bedrooms, assumed I was not like the other girls, and the other girls were not like me. I shied away from my femininity, maximised my masculinity so that the boys wouldn't pick me last in team chasing, bracing myself on my mark for racing, lacing up my football boots and booting it up and down the green, working 10 times harder to be part of the team. I mean, I didn't really like football. but it was football or nothing at all. I'd sooner fall in the muck than be stuck sitting with the girls, all swapping stories of the glories of kissing boys. It was just white noise to me. I didn't see how I was different, but I knew I was. I didn't abide by the agreed upon girl code laws. I didn't want to be girly or soft or weak. I didn't want to be considered delicate or meek, because that's what girls are, or so I was told. I was told men were brave and brash and bold, while women are soft and sweet and scold the men for being men. A mother's role as homemaker, mother hen. I didn't want to pen myself into the definition of a woman coming from a mindset moulded by man. But as I grew, so too did my views and perceptions. I began to question the narrative and stop my competitive relationship with women and femininity. I realised my internalized misogyny was hurting me. Society had pitted me against myself, against the girls who done no wrong. I realised my sensibilities do not represent my sensibilities. I realised I can be strong and soft in the same breath. I can like makeup and shoes and still have depth. I can be everything and nothing I am expected to be. I can be like the other girls, and they can be like me. Thank you. I am done. I am going to leave you with that one, but I'm just going to say a massive thank you especially to the woman keeping me on time, because that's very hard to do. But thanks to all yous, and thanks so much for having me. I've been Natalya of Flaherty, spoken word artist.